Hello, welcome to the video, guys. We're going to be taking a look at the LTG today, and this will be the 3-mark game that I received on the vehicle. So we finally got it. It's man, it's been a long time coming, right? I mean, with this vehicle and the LTTB, I always felt like I would get the mark sooner, but we finally did get it. This tank is very, very good at passive scouting, so if you can get into like a good area, similar to like the even 90, right? And that's kind of how you need to pad the combined score, in my opinion, for this vehicle. However, in my session with this tank, I was finding that I needed to do a lot of damage, guys. I had a session, and this was the last game in the session, where I was averaging, I want to say, like almost 1700 damage a game in this vehicle. And that's how I ended up getting it. Now, we get pretty lucky here. These people push in very stupid ways, in my opinion. The Poodle's going to poke kind of, you know, over poke, I'll call it, and we're able to get the side shot into him there. T-34-85 is now a one-shot, and he's also going to try and poke here. And in my opinion, these are just dumb moves. Like, I have the penetration, even with the standard APCRs, to make this work. So I'm going to try and shoot him here. I pretty much know that's going to miss, but I might as well just take it anyway. And now we're just going to wait to see maybe if Tiger P is going to push in or whatever. Don't think it was the best play by him. He dies right away. And now T-34-1 is coming in. However, he did clean up the T-34-85, but there, he dies now. So this seems like people are just YOLOing in, but I'm telling you, this is very common on Studs Yankee. Studs is a very, very good map. I actually like the map. But when people are going to do this on the map, I like it even more. I mean, they're going to focus people that are in front of them, and I have easy side shots on these people. And this is what seemed to happen this game. I was just very fortunate that I was able to get a good amount of damage, but we do some spotting as well after this. So you can see I'm going to smack the T-34-1, but I'm doing it very quickly because I don't want to lose any HP myself. I want to conserve my HP. It's very early in the game. Type 64 is behind me. He has me perma spotted. T-34 is going to bounce on me, and I'm thinking about poking out and trying to take a shot at this guy, but I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for the M2Y to poke out or something so I can see where this guy is. Now, keep in mind, guys, this position is only doable if heavies are not going to make a play to get right here next to your heavies. So I'm going to show you that with a free camera. If you look, both on this side and on the enemy side, if the heavies are going to take either this corner or this corner, depending on which spawn you're at, you're not going to be safe. You can see how you can still kind of see my tank over here, right? So if you take this area right here, as a heavy tank, you know, you want to sit, you could probably tuck in right here, I believe. You can poke out and get shots at someone that's in this area, or if we're talking about this particular game, if a heavy did that, they would get shots at me, right? So you have to be careful about that, guys. Just something to, you know, note. I don't want you to get into this position and then realize that you're not safe here if someone moves into this area. So do keep that in mind. We were pretty lucky here. And here I'm asking the M2Y, like, can one of you guys poke? And then this guy kind of over pokes. And I just want them to poke quick so I can see the T-34-1. And as it turns out, I end up spotting him anyway. So, but I'm able to get a shot into the M48 there, and then we're able to angle well enough that the T-34 bounces again, like off the very corner of the turret or whatever. And this thing does have turret armor, though it's really only going to block like tier 6 shells and stuff like that. Don't expect it to block anything else. It's more just for like trolling lower tier tanks, I will say. Or if you're very far away and kind of at an angle, like if you're poking up or something like that, you might bounce a shot, right? Like if you angle it properly, it's possible to get a ricochet, right? So obviously this mark is not correct. Again, keep this in mind, guys. It's taking this game and then adding it to this one itself, because it's what it's doing is it's looking at what the mark is right now, you know, in the game, right? Like what I have right now, which is about just over 95%. I think it's 95.07 or 08 or something like that, but we can see that in the M plates. But again, I have to say this all the time, just keep this in mind, like this is not going to be correct because it's taking current data and then adding this game to it. So pretty much it's adding this game twice, so to speak. So we're going to come down into the ditch now. This is, again, I was explaining to you guys, this is a very common play to see people YOLO this area of the map. it's something to be very, very mindful of. It's going to happen. There's nothing you could really do about it other than try to manage it by sitting at a building like this, or sitting at a building like this on the enemy side. You don't want to rush this in a light tank because you have no armor. At lower tiers, maybe it's more viable because a lot of people don't have armor, but people will YOLO this middle ridge line because the middle ridge line is very vital for spotting the enemy team and such, right? It's just a very, very good position to take. I overpoke, could have gotten hit by the T-29 right here, but I'm lucky that I did not. So we're good to go here. I mean, we clean up the T-29, and now we're free, right, to begin spotting the enemy team. We're at 2,040 damage, 830 assist, guys, and at the time I was at like, man, I want to say I was like low 94s on the mark. So what's crazy about this game is I was able to get the mark up significantly to get the 3 mark in this game. So this was one of those games that, like I always say, you kind of have to push past the sticking point, but this game we pushed past the sticking point, past the 3 mark, right? And it just ended up being that good of a game, man. I think we did over like 4,000 combined or something, and it worked out really well. And I don't know if I featured studs recently, but again, I really do like this map. It's got a great soundtrack on top of that. And yeah, we're pretty free to get the mark at this point. I'm thinking like the game is really close, but I now have this push, and this push is so powerful when you have a tank like the LTG, right? Because the LTG is very low to the ground, and it's got very, very good concealment. So even this grass right here is getting me the concealment, so when I poke up, I'm not going to get lit by the KV5, even if he had the view range to spot me, right? You can see how this grass kind of, you know, gives me enough camo. And this vehicle, man, it's just, it fits my playstyle very well, guys, because of its concealment and its small, not necessarily its small size, but it's very low, right? It doesn't have this huge turret sticking up like the T-37 does, and I've been having some issues with that vehicle recently. So we had the stream, and we didn't perform that well in the stream. After the stream, got it up to about 88%, so we did 2 mark the vehicle. I think we ended at like 81% on the stream or something like that. But that tank is tricky because you have a huge freaking turret, man, right? And you don't have a lot of concealment, and it can just be really awkward. So keep this in mind, guys. Even one class in the game, light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks, they still have their own playstyle. You have sniper kind of mediums, you have brawling kind of mediums, you have more active scout type of lights, you have more passive scout type of lights. Sometimes you even have brawling types of lights. T-54 lightweight, LT-432, some of the WZs and stuff like that, they can brawl, right? Even the American heavies. American heavies are actually very unique because you even have the Sheridan and the T-49 that have the derp gun, right? So very, very unique playstyle. The AMX, they all have clips, right? The Batchat 12T, AMX 1375, AMX 12T, AMX 1390, AMX 13105. All these vehicles have 4-round clips, and you have to know how to play those as well. So you have classes in the game, guys, but keep in mind you have like subclasses within a class as well. So this tank plays very, very well as a passive scout. Maybe slightly for brawling too, right? Because of its sort of turret armor. But every tank is unique in the game, and there's no tank that's like exactly the same unless you're talking about like the Wolverine and the M10 or BFM or whatever the heck. These are identical tanks basically. T-32, T-832. They're the same exact tank with maybe just very slight different, certain characteristics like gun accuracy or something, right? But keep this in mind, guys. There's many different tanks in the game, and you have to be willing to play battle after battle after battle and kind of learn the way the vehicle should be played. And then even then, there's some people that play 2 tanks completely different, and they'll set it up for it to be different in one aspect, than someone else would. For instance, I could set this thing up with like a rammer if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. I always run CVS, optics, and I run the low noise exhaust. But the thing is, on tier 8, or anything below tier 8, you actually don't have the CVS, so I believe on this I run like Fence or VSTAB or something like that, right? But that's pretty much my standard loadout. There's some people that will throw rammer and vents and shit on a light tank just because they want to maximize DPM or something. Hey man, go for it. But in my opinion, that's not how I want to play a light tank. So game is getting really, really close here, guys. We're at 3k damage, 1500 spotting, and what a game it's been so far. I believe we might already have the 3 mark. I don't know. Again, this is wrong, but this game has just been crazy, right? Because it's so close and it's so rare in the first place to get games like this to begin with. That's the thing, man, is like in today's matchmaking, it's so rare to get a game that is this close regardless. So I'm thankful that it's been this close, and even if I don't have the 3 mark yet, I'm happy that I've gotten this close, right? Because it means the next game I probably will get it. But I want to say up until this point we didn't have it because I remember YOLOing the E25 for a little bit of extra damage at the end, and I think that's when we officially got it. But we'll fast forward just a hair here, guys. I don't want to go crazy, but I want to try and shorten this video just a little bit. Type 64 is going to push into the VK here, as you see. Type 64 ends up staying alive. I'm asking the T28 for help. I wish he would just come up and try and shoot this KV5 or something. And at this point, E25 is going to get on the cap now. We have just under 4 minutes left. I'm actually going to take a shot at this guy because I believe I won't get lit because his commander's hatch is behind the building here, and Type 64 went over here, and KV5 probably won't light me from this distance, and plus I think he was also behind the mound there. But I take the chance, I shoot the E25 here, and now I'm just going to YOLO after this guy. At this point, I'm not really trusting my T28 prototype, no offense to him, but he just seems way too passive about the situation. Basically, he had full HP, and we're going to ram the E25, and watch how quickly this E25 is able to turn, man. I almost find this thing to be broken. Like, it's ridiculous. You can't even circle this thing with a light tank. Like, look at this thing, man. It is ridiculous how quickly this thing can traverse. Yeah, it's just mind-blowing, guys, right? I think I am able to clean this guy up, and at this point, it's like, I'm dead, right? I know that because T28 prototype died, there's Type 64 KV5, SC100Y, we have no idea where this guy's been, and that's pretty much going to be the game. So at this point, I sacrificed, like, everything for my mark, and we ended up doing over 5,000 combined, actually, guys. 3,773 damage, 15-18 assists. We had 5 kills, so if we got 1 more kill, we would have got the top gun. If I was able to get out of this situation and E25 didn't traverse like a freaking like king of traverse over here, man, like what the shit is this? How does this thing traverse this quickly, guys? But it is a very small tank, and yeah, a little cockroach, man. So it is what it is. We were able to clean them up anyway. We did 21,000 WN8 in this game, guys. Like, it was just ridiculous how I was performing in this vehicle. I had over a 6k WN8 playing this vehicle to 3 mark it. And sometimes you just have to do damage in order to get the mark, man. Like, there's some maps and games where you're just going to get teammates that can't hit shit, and you're going to need to do damage, guys. But I only recommend that unless you're going to go for the 3 mark, right? Like, you don't want to be a toxic light tank player sitting in the back trying to farm damage if no one else can hit shit, right? But it is the case, guys. Here you go. We're going to get into the end plates. I will keep this open. Let me just put it back on full screen so that the music turns off. Okay, and we're going to get into the end plates. And by the way, I believe this video is going to be in 1080 because I forgot to change it from the stream. So I'm going to zoom in really close here so you guys can see these end plates well. I do apologize for it being downscaled to 1080. I will switch that for the next video. It's only going to be this one. And keep in mind the Twitch highlights will also be in 1080 because I have to stream in 1080, guys. 1440p is just way too much for most people to be able to handle that on their internets. So I'm going to zoom in really, close here for you guys so you can see the mastery, the 3 mark, the 84,000 credits here that we got, 2,000, and this is just like your standard, right? 2,489 experience before like other stuff, I guess, is calculated. And we'll zoom in nice and close here so you guys can see all this. 3,773 damage. We did 12 module damage, 1,775 spotting, guys, 5 kills. Like, this game was just wild, right? Wild game. And you can look down here and see right when I got the 3 mark, we got it in 285 battles. We were averaging 1,062 damage with a 55% win rate. And before I 3 marked this vehicle, this was at like 1020, 1030, something. It went up drastically, guys, just in the one session I had with it. So now we have the T71 DA and the LTG3 marked at tier 7. We're going to try to get the 1375, but I'll certainly 2 mark this thing. We already have the SU 2 marked as well. And we did that in under 100 battles. I've played a few battles in this vehicle after that. And that's pretty much all the good stuff, guys. You can see right here, again, my score, we're top by damage, top by experience. Their team did pretty well. Their E25 actually did very well. So, he's probably a very good player, probably has that tank pretty decked out. That might be why he was able to traverse so quickly, but I know that tank is pretty snappy, dude. So, but he did 3k damage as well, and yeah, a wild game for him too. So, congrats to him, and that's it, guys. You can see a look. Take a look at this real quick. 33 shots fired, 27 hits, 22 pens, and yeah, if you want to see anything else here, feel free, but that's pretty much it. 3773, 1775 is the total. We're doing, my quick maths are pretty bad, guys, but I'm going to say this is like 5,500 combined or so. And just a ridiculous, ridiculous game, guys. And I am running this thing with vents, and I had Vent Purge on to try and get the 3 mark, optics, and low noise exhaust. And that's it, guys. Like this tank's concealment. Look at the concealment, 47.51%. Like this is almost rivaling like your AMX ELC like tier 5 and stuff like that. When you have full concealment on the crew, which we do here, that's what you can expect out of it. I don't even have brothers in arms, guys, either. So, but there you go. We finally 3-marked LTG. Nothing more to say here, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye now.